Hey everyone, welcome to all of you who are joining in on the group cleanse. I'm excited to get us started, and then I know there's a couple of people here watching that might be interested, so welcome to you too. So first I want to talk about just one more time what can happen if you fully commit and do the whole cleanse the right way. Um, so with taking out gluten, I just see so many things that it is causing in the body. And again, endocrine disorders, things that affect the endocrine system are thyroid, hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, but also adrenals, adrenal fatigue, adrenal stress, being in that constant fight or flight mode, also cortisol production, and then other things. Oh, your hormones. Your what we think of as our hormones, like with our cycles and things that are affecting our mood. So gluten can affect all of that. I have seen people's chronic athlete's foot disappear. I have seen digestive disorders either completely go away or get a lot of relief. I can't promise miracles, but I don't know that you can't feel better, that anyone's not going to feel better after doing this no matter what, even if you don't have the food sensitivities, and then you'll know. So, also pains, joint pains, and things like that can be greatly reduced sometimes if you have a gluten sensitivity. So, hopefully, you don't, and you can go and be one of those lucky people that gets to eat bread for the rest of your life. Oh my God, I wish I could be that person. But if not, at least you'll know, and you'll just have to wait till you go to Europe or something to eat their bread. So there are alternatives too, and I can help people with finding better alternatives versus the not so great um, sand tasting alternatives to gluten free stuff. So also autoimmune symptoms, those get greatly reduced for most people. I would say almost everyone that has an autoimmune disorder probably needs to take out gluten. It's unfortunately that's just how it is. And then the autoimmune protocol though is a specific diet, and that is causing problems for a lot of people. So you don't necessarily need to fit into that whole box. We'll find out what you need for your body. Dairy, again, I talked about before, congestion, asthma. If you have asthma, you're probably having a dairy issue. Um, and then also definitely digestive things. You might not be lactose intolerant, you might just have a dairy sensitivity. Also eczema. It makes me get eczema. Unfortunately, I've been eating too much dairy, cheating on my dairy diet lately, and it's back. Um, Eggs can cause things like eczema, psoriasis, gets worse, acne, gastric pain. So all of those things, everything can be a multitude of issues. Corn can also cause skin issues, dandruff, things like that. Sugar, and wheat can affect your mood, your anxiety, depression, all of those things. So your stress response. So, yeah, if you could get like half of those symptoms kind of relieved by the end of this, you're going to be doing a lot better, right? Especially if you have a bunch of those happening at once, or if your one or two symptoms that you do experience are pretty extreme. This was probably going to help you. And in the long run, if you don't have food sensitivities, then you're going to know it's not your food, it's something else. You'll have it ruled out, and so that's great. If in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you're going to feel like everything like I didn't get any results from it, then you're going to know that like, okay, it's time to look at something different. So, but also you will have eaten a more clean diet, and you're going to feel better anyway. You're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel what it's like to not have those things in your system, and if you want them or not, or if you want to cut back on things, or wherever you want to go from there. Uh, Most of us will also be cutting out alcohol and caffeine. I highly recommend that. And then, because those can also affect you in other ways, like mood for sure, stress levels, energy levels, all of those things, inflammation for sure, especially with the alcohol. Um, Meat, if that depends on you. So meat can be, especially red meat, can be more inflammatory, but that depends on where you want to go with this. So if if you, we can also talk about when we meet individually, if you want to, not take out meat right now because that's too much of a cleanse for you, and that's going to be too hard, then you can do it later. Um, so yeah, um, after basically for everyone, it's going to be we're going to make you a 2 to 3 week plan. For gluten, it takes 3 weeks to get out of your system, at least 3 weeks to four. But usually, if you test it after 3 weeks, I get pretty good results. Um, but after the 2 week mark, you can start adding in some of the other things to test them out, so it won't be so harsh. Um, so then it's also what else do you want from this cleanse? And so some people do want to go to all liquids for a few days, and we can talk about that. It depends on how well you're dealing with stress, because with my particular training, Ayurveda, and just being an herbalist for a long time, there are, well, especially Ayurveda, there we don't get put people on cleanses if your body is not going to be able to deal with it well, if it's going to cause stress on you at another time in the future or while you're cleansing. So we'll get to look at all of that. But if you do want to, and you have a good stamina or whatever in your with your system, or your body's appropriate for it, then those who want to can take a few days of. We'll talk about that, like either a few days of only broths or juice or whatever, and then building back up. So that will be for some people. Other people are just going to take out those basic things. That's going to be enough for them, and that's completely fine. And then we'll also talk about how we're going to make a plan on how to build your way back out of the cleanse so that you don't stress out your digestive system. If you start eating all these foods and you just cause that inflammation back in your digestive system again after you've been given it a break, it can cause even more damage. So we're going to do it in an appropriate way, slowly and paying attention. I'm going to have a little PDF printouts you can do for kind of food journaling. You don't have to do it every day, but just to keep track of what's going on in our body so that you can look back and say, look at what may or may not have happened. And then we'll also have we're going to create a backup plan for you for food. So at least one or two meals that are going to be your standard. So if nothing else, I eat whatever, this soup every day or khichdi every day, whatever you want to do. And if nothing else, I always have this snack available. Um, uh, and when I get, cravings, I can eat this. So we'll have a backup plan for what are your weaknesses and how can we like curb that. When we meet, I'm going to, give a couple of tips and tricks on how to overcome our self-discipline issues and what to do in those moments. Hopefully, give some good food tips and inspire everyone to, try some different things or incorporate different foods in. Um, Also, when we make your plan, you may need extra digestive support. So, if you're not going to the bathroom every day, if you're not having bowel movements every day, we're going to make that happen. That's important. And very important for you to be doing that, especially if you're working with me at any point. We always go to the bathroom. Um, and also, if you in particular need some certain nerve support or stress support, I'll throw that in anyway. But if you have other specific health issues, then let's save that for after. And then if you want to make another consultation with me, you can, because who knows what you're going to clear up now. This is a huge jump start for people. And if I could get people to do this every time before they do anything else, they would heal so much quicker, or they would even, their starting place would be so much better. So yeah, you are the lucky ones that get to do this. So, when I need everyone to set up an appointment, I'm going to send you a link now. I think my booking thing on my website is giving people weird times, like for later on in the month. Ignore that and let me send you. Please set up a appointment for ideally either Friday or Saturday, and people can start tomorrow. Taking out these foods, but we'll go full force by Monday. So go ahead and start weaning yourself off, buying the right foods, all of those things. So we need to meet, you and I need to meet personally right away so that we can get on it. And don't worry, like you're going to be able to do this. I know people have families and kids to feed and everything else, but you're going to have group support, you're going to have us, and um, you can do it. If you do cheat, I don't want you to cheat, but if you do cheat, it's different with different things. But please try not to cheat. Try your best. I will forgive you if you do. There's no judgment for sure. But for the gluten, it just stays in your system for 3 to 4 full weeks. So every time you cheat, you're basically starting back over. So try your best not to cheat. Sometimes, if you cheat like later on in the cleanse, then you're going to know pretty quickly that if that food doesn't work for you. So there is that. But come on, y'all. It's only 2 to 3 weeks of your life. We can do this. You can do this. Um, some people go on these crazy fad diets for months and years at a time, and then they're burnt out. So you can do this and not have to do anything too crazy. It might seem crazy for 2 to 3 weeks, but you're going to find relief in other things. So um, yeah, we can do it. So we're gonna have on Mondays we'll have check-ins at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So there you can ask questions or whatever you need to do. It'll probably be about half an hour or so. And then I will also incorporate some other classes. They'll either be live or recorded. You guys can vote if you want. Um, and just things on like how to pay attention to your body, how to listen to what is coming up in your body, what to not ignore. I don't think you should ignore anything, but really bringing awareness to like what those things are. Um, and then also another one on rebuilding from a cleanse. We'll talk about that, how to properly reintroduce food. So yeah, uh, it'll be fun. If nothing else, by the end of 2 weeks, you'll know that you're good with these foods, and you'll feel a little bit lighter because you kept them out for a couple weeks. But I'm not big on raw food cleanses or just juicing. If you want to do that for a couple of days, that's fine, but I'm going to tell you to heat it up. And we're going into the cold season, so we don't want to introduce more cold into our body, especially if that's the only thing that's happening. We want to introduce warmth, like warm things that are easier to digest, especially since we're paying so much attention to what is going on in our digestive system. So, um, yeah, one more thing is that you would not know. I think I said this on another video, but there is no way to know before you test them if these foods are affecting you. Um, you're not going to know because you've been eating them for so long, and I know maybe it's been 30 years or whatever, but it kicks in when people get older or younger, at any age. It doesn't matter, and there's just no way to know that they're doing that until you take it completely out, and then get it out of your system, and then add it back in and try it again to see what happens. So that's why this is so important. And yeah, good for you for uh, jumping in here. So if you have any questions, send me a message, and I will be getting more information out for those of you who have already signed up today. And yeah, just let me know what's going on and get your appointment booked right away, please. Okay? All right, y'all.